Well, Rob, why don't you tell me a little bit about what this not AgVision, have I been saying it wrong this whole time? It's AgVisor. Man, it's a Thursday.
Yeah,
AgVisor
AgVisor.
Pro. Tell me about this app. What is it?
Well, AgVisor Pro is a ecosystem that we're building. That's a fancy word for lots of people can connect in it. But what I've been trying to do is crack the code on helping farmers find experts that they don't know, or help farmers get somebody to give them a second opinion, or help farmers learn a new technology in a way that they haven't before. So the way it works is that if you have a question, you can post the question anonymously into AgVisor Pro, and the question will be geotagged, so you know if it came from Missouri or from Minnesota. And the question goes into AgVisor Pro, and we use that question to match. We got an algorithm that we built that matches that question to right now about 750 experts on the platform, and that allows you to get a number of responses back to your question. So today a question just came in, I think, on Group 1 resistance, and another person's asking a question about blight in apples, and somebody else is asking a question about some disease or ring rot in cows. So the questions come from all over the place. They can be equipment, they can be business related, and AgVisor Pro will allow you to ask that question, punch it into the system, you get back some responses, and you meet some experts that you never otherwise would have known.
Wow, that's super cool.
Yeah.
And, that's the thing. Rob, you have brought together people who are experts in their field, literally and figuratively, and they get to answer from a point of view that drives a discussion that brings even better ideas to light. And the functionality, it allowed me to go ahead and email you here as we were trying to work through making sure your link was correct, which I apologize for that from our end. And it's instantaneous, right? You can see exactly what somebody is sending you the message about. I got to tell you, has it taken you a long time to build so many great things into one app?
Well, it's interesting the way you say that, because in fact that's what we've done. We've taken in the approach of LinkedIn to provide verification of the experts on the platform. We've done some eHarmony in terms of algorithmic matching. We've got Uber built into it, so for schedulization and monetization, if you want to help pay the expert that you're consulting with. We built in FaceTime, or optical real-time connectivity, so you never have to make a phone call or an audio call. All those things are built in. We built in the Twitterization, so you can have hits that are coming in on the topics that are of interest to you. We've got a Facebook feed that's built into AgVisor Pro. We've also got communities such as regenerative ag, or drones, or precision ag, both public and private communities that you can join. And so it's an ecosystem built for agriculture, whether you're in livestock or cropping or viticulture, horticulture, indoor farming, doesn't matter, any aspect of agriculture. And it's a completely secure system devoted solely to the industry of agriculture.
It sounds like it's just a little bit of the best of everything put into one awesome app that's dedicated to agriculture and every side field that goes into it. This sounds super cool. Way to be on putting this together. As Bridgette was kind of hinting at, how long did it take to do this? How many years was this just the thought? How many years did it take to start turning it into what it is today?
Well, I founded AgriTrend back in 1997, so that gives you some indication. But no, I founded my previous company, AgriTrend, in '97, and we grew that to be one of North America's largest agricultural consulting firm, from northern Alberta down to the Mississippi Delta. And then that data system, and we were into precision ag, and we sold that to Trimble. And so I finished that in 2018. And in 2019, I began to think about, if I was going to do it all again, how would I harness the power of digitization to really dematerialize time and space. So that's when I started to work on it. And I think I started to sketch this out on October 2nd of 2018. We launched an MVP in kind of late 2019. And since then, I've built a team around it, and we're really iterating quickly right now on enhancements to the product. But I got to tell you, I mean, there's people. I just had a question come in on that fire blight. That question came in from Chile. We have people on the platform from Lithuania. We've got people all over the United States, from Florida all the way to Hawaii on the program, so on the platform. So it's really cool.
That's absolutely incredible, and I'm glad to hear that people around the world are taking up on this to help everybody out. I mean, we're also spread out with our operations, and a lot of us do similar things, but we're such a far distance from each other. It's nice to have that easy way just within the ag community to be able to reach out for help, or as you had mentioned, just a second guess, or hey, maybe how I'm trying to do this, has anyone done it before, what worked good for you, and you can just help other people out. But Rob, we're going to hit bottom of the hour here really quick. When we come back, we'll come back to this conversation. I want to know,
sure,
with people being all around the world, how many members are using your app? As well with that, does it cost anything to use? Is there memberships? How do you become an expert to help other people? So we'll get those questions answered.
And we have the great pleasure of being joined by a guest today, Rob Saik. Rob is a Canadian counterpart who works very extensively in agriculture and has for a lot of years. He's the founder of the AgVisor Pro app. And as we were going into our break, Rob, Justin and I both had the same question. This app sounds fabulous, and it is. I'm on the app, and I help answer questions there. But it's free, right? And some of the services you can get out of there are pretty extensive. Do you want to talk about that for our farmers who are listening?
Yeah, well, when you build something like this, you always are trying to figure out how to make it profitable. I mean, that's the name of the game in business. So we have companies that are on the platform that list their representatives on the platform. That goes into the algorithm, by the way. You have got a virtual farmers market. So if you're looking for drone advice, if you're looking for greenhouse advice, if you're looking for some support for family counseling on the farm, all of those virtual services are in the virtual farmers market, and you can connect with them. We have got some private communities that are subscription. But for right now, the farmers come on, and anybody can be on the platform in as little as 90 seconds. And the questions are all posted anonymously, so it's a very safe platform. And it just works. And the thing about it is agriculture. There aren't many people involved in agriculture, but it is such a big industry. And we're spread out too. So the best expert for your farm is very often somebody you don't know. And that's what we're trying to crack, is how do you connect to people you really don't know to solve problems on your operation?
So Rob, I'm going to take a big step back because, as you mentioned, you started a company back in 1997. You've been running AgVisor Pro as its founder. You have done so many things. Give us a little background on your career in ag as one of those experts out there.
Well, I mean, plant physiology, soil chemistry, crop nutrition is the background. I in my 20s and early 30s, I started 2 retail operations, one in Alberta, one. I worked internationally in the sulfur industry all around the globe. I've written a couple books. TEDx talks been seen about 175,000 times. I was also CEO of DOT, the robotics company out of Regina, and we exited to Raven. I run a peer group for farmers called the Power Farm Group. We've been running that now for over a decade to help farmers do benchmarking and leadership training at farm level.
You're a very busy guy. Congrats on all of your accomplishments, by the way. That's incredible.
Oh, thank you.
Hold the phone. That's not all. I happen to know you have an alter ego by the name of Steve Stubblejumsky. Want to share that?
Wow. How did you dig that up? Well, yeah. So
we do our homework here, Rob.
Yeah, my grandparents on both sides were Ukrainian farmers, so I'm 100% Ukrainian Canadian, and Ukrainians tell the best Ukrainian jokes, and so I have this character, Steve Stubble-Jumsky, that I've entertained across North America for about 30 years. Steve's getting a little on in time, and as I've devoted more and more energy to AgVisor Pro, I have less time to tell jokes, and really right now there's not much fun about Ukraine anyway, so Steve is kind of taking a little hiatus right now.
There may be a time where you may need him again, right? We may
resurrect him. Yeah. Yeah.
So as we've talked about AgVisor Pro, it'd be like saying, who's your favorite kid and what's your favorite part of it? Can you possibly break out one piece of your career and say that this was the most fun that I've done, or do you think maybe it hasn't even come by you yet?
I belong to a coaching program for entrepreneurs, and one of the things that we talk about is, do you believe that your future can be bigger than your past? And I believe, Bridgette, I believe wholeheartedly that this is the biggest project I've undertaken in my life. It has the opportunity to transform how agriculture communicates. We're working with equipment dealerships to try to streamline the support that they do internally. We're working with agricultural retail operations to streamline the information that they're dealing with internally to help farmers faster. We're trying to work with precision ag technicians. We're going to be launching a channel called Precision Pro, which will be an exclusive channel for those people working in precision agriculture, dealing with the technology and helping out farmers. Because I'm a big believer that whether you're green, yellow, blue, red, raven, trimble, you've got experience that can help somebody else. And so we're going to create that kind of community to create that kind of information exchange.
Oh, absolutely it does. And I just think about all the different aspects of agriculture. You and I are both users on Twitter, and there are some folks that have joined AgVisor Pro just from watching the discussions we have. Folks that are livestock experts, right? Because livestock questions pop up, such as, I want to feed distillers grains to my cattle. What are things that I should expect or manage for in my ration? I have seen homeowner gardening type questions. So Justin, that's for you in our tomato competition. There's just so many things that it can open up to folks. And as we approach our spring planting season, I don't know if I can emphasize enough that this is a great place to follow and learn. You don't even have to jump into the conversation, right, Rob? There's just things that you pick up by osmosis.
Yeah, we built a little bit of Tinder in it too. So as the questions come in that are basically fed to you based on your interest levels that you set up when you come on the platform, you can see the questions come in, and you can swipe to the right to participate in the conversation, swipe up to follow the conversation, swipe left to just discard the question. But we have a lot of people, Bridgette, who are doing nothing more than being wallflowers. They're just watching the conversations and learning, and I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm sorry, Justin, go right ahead.
You were saying how easy it is to be a part of this, and it's free for the basic consumer, which is people in agriculture. Is it only for farmers? And only just for people in agriculture? Or what about our listening audience here within the FM Metro? We're probably 60% urban, 40% ag. Yeah. What about the urban person? Can they pick up anything?
So this is interesting. We're having a conversation with the school board right now to see if we can use AgVisor Pro to set up communities so that teachers and students could ask anonymous questions about agriculture, and those questions would be answered by volunteer farmers and agricultural experts. There is so much disinformation today about agriculture and food production. And a survey we just recently did was 50% of teachers would want to teach more agriculture in the classroom, but they don't have the connection. We believe we can do that. And so AgVisor Pro, you can come on there as an urban person and watch the discussion or ask a question. Again, questions are anonymous, so you don't have to worry about being gaslit. And the discussion, because it's a professional network the discourse is very high level. You won't get any trash talk in AgVisor Pro. Everybody's there to make the world a better place.
That's awesome. And,
Wait, Rob, that whole thing with the elementary school, though, or with any high school that you just said, making those examples clear of how science and all of the STEM activities relate back to agriculture, and you can do it through AgVisor Pro, that's huge in my book.
Huge.
Yeah. Go ahead. You could finish what you were going to say.
No, I just think, just talk about genetic engineering. Throw that out there. And now let's have some farmers' feedback to the people in the classrooms about what this all means. Does it mean more chemical, less chemical? What's the real word? What's the real word on the street from the people who are actually doing the work? It would be very interesting, I think, for classrooms to have that discussion from people actually using the technology.
I completely agree. And I feel like you're about to get a big spike in downloads from the Fargo-Moorhead area over here in North Dakota, Minnesota, and our listening audience. But it seems like it's just the no-brainer. This is the app that you should have within agriculture for agriculture communications, or even just seeing how the discussions work, picking up things here or there. Like you said, even if you don't post a question, you can still pick things up from this app. How many users do you have within AgVisor?
Well, there's about 750 experts on the platform, and I was just doing the demographics, actually, as I was late for this the interview here. We've got right around $70 billion worth of farmland on the platform. That'll give you a little bit of an indication as to the reach. So any company out there that wants to, have visibility to $70 billion worth of farmland, we have a program called the AgVisor Pro Market Access Program, and they can list their company and what the company does, and they can list their reps, and then farmers can have instantaneous connection with these people right in the platform. They never have to make a phone call or an email or go to a messenger. All the chats, all the connections are built inside of AgVisor Pro.
That's great. I got a couple more questions here for you, Rob. What does it take? And you had mentioned that you do some form of verification to become an expert or to have the title of expert within your app. How do you go about that?
When you get onto the app, when you get on the app and you want to become an expert, you have to go through a profile. This is kind of the LinkedIn side of things, where we take in and ingest your education, work experience, designations, etc. We'll cross-reference all of those designations to determine verification of the expert on the platform. That's first level, and that'll get you your check mark. In other words, you're not faking it. You're a real person. You've got experience. You're in the industry. And then the second part of it is where we built in some Uberization to it. So as the number of rides or the number of interviews go up between the farmers or the seekers and the experts, there's a review system in place that will rise the cream to the top. So we've built that into the platform as well to help people understand who's really engaged in answering good quality questions.
You see, that was my follow-up question I was going to ask on that, is when it comes to the user or the expert and the dialogue or the answers, the advice, the solutions that they're distributing to other people, is there a ranking system, a rating system to ensure that that quality is still there over time? If someone's just there giving poor answers, bad decisions, is there a way that that's held accountable?
Well, the thing is that agriculture is not black and white. Agriculture is a series of grays, and the answer to questions are often it depends. So right now, there's a discussion going on with ammonium thiosulfate versus ammonium sulfate application on farmland. And I'm watching the questions, and you know what? You've got people that are sharing information from one point of view, and you got people sharing information from another point of view. No one's right, no one's wrong, because again, it depends on the pH of your soil, depends on the rainfall, crops, etc. So I think that in most cases we're getting 3.7 answers per question, and I think the value in AgVisor Pro is not one answer. It's that you get multiple answers, and then you use your own intelligence based on your farm, or you consult with the expert that looks like he or she has the greatest match, and you have a conversation to go deeper to determine what you should do.
See, I like that aspect of it as well. Just having the conversation to begin with and getting the communication between 2, 3, 4 different people, and then other people see it as well. And it's how you just get across all the topics, and discussing something is by talking about it. So I think that aspect of it is super cool.
Yeah, I mean, and then you get into the technical issues. Let's say you're a farmer in Moorhead or somewhere out Devil's Lake area, and you're planting with your planter or your air seeder, and the monitor freezes and you can't plant. Well, you know, that is like that's like a emergency situation, and very often you can't get the support you need on time. And AgVisor Pro is another place you can turn. Again, from a technical standpoint, when we're talking about technology, that expert could be anywhere around the world. There's just as easily for somebody to answer the question who has experience from Germany as it is from somebody from South Dakota.
Right, that's awesome. B, do you got any more questions over there for Rob before we disconnect here?
I would just like to thank Rob for taking the time to visit with us. It was such a joy to have you to ask our questions to today, and do not feel any guilt about a link that held us up for a brief moment in time, because here we are, and we think that this gained a lot of traction for folks who are listening, and something that they might find useful in their everyday life. So thank you, Rob. We so appreciate it. Folks, we are going to go listen to the market update from American Ag Network.